Despite Clint Eastwood's rise to fame through Sergio Leone's iconic spaghetti westerns, his 1968 film Hang 'em High marked his debut in Hollywood westerns. While the movie is remembered for its gritty storytelling and Eastwood's rugged performance, it also had a remarkable behind-the-scenes story involving a stunt that was considered the greatest western stunt of all time. This stunt was so daring that it almost canceled the entire scene and risked serious injury to the stunt performer. The stunt involved a high-speed horseback chase across a treacherous canyon, with a sudden leap over a narrow wooden bridge spanning the chasm. The stuntman had to maintain absolute control while flying through the air at max speed, with only a thin rope securing him to the horse, to ensure he cleared the gap safely. Due to tight timing and unpredictable wind conditions, the stunt almost went wrong, but the stuntman executed it flawlessly, leaving crews in awe. This moment, though incredible, did not make it into the final film, often hidden in behind-the-scenes stories, yet it remains one of the most daring and intense moments in Western stunt history. The scene's near miss and the skill involved have since been celebrated as a testament to stunt artistry and bravery. Upon its release in the spring of 1968, Hang 'em High was met with disappointment from critics and audiences alike. Many expected it to be as exciting and memorable as the famous Sergio Leone's Dollars trilogy, which had set a new standard for Western films with its style, storytelling, and iconic characters. Instead, Hang 'em High was seen as falling short in comparison, and some thought it lacked the fresh energy or strong narrative needed to stand out in the crowded Western genre. During that time, it was regarded as a major disappointment, and its initial reception was often lukewarm, with some reviews pointing out that it was a rather ordinary entry that did not live up to expectations. However, as the years passed, people's views shifted gradually. With time, more viewers and critics revisited the film and appreciated different aspects of it, such as Clint Eastwood's performance, the direction, and the film's gritty portrayal of frontier justice. This reassessment helped improve its reputation significantly. Today, Hang 'em High is considered a solid Western that has its own place in film history, not only because of its entertainment value, but also because it reflects the style and themes of its era. Its initial comparison to the celebrated Dollars trilogy faded, and it is now often appreciated for its own merits rather than disappointment. The film's journey from a misunderstood release to a respected classic demonstrates how perceptions of movies can change over time. Since the movie Hang 'em High was released in 1968, it has become a classic Western film that tells a gripping story of justice and revenge. The plot follows Clint Eastwood, who plays the character Jed Cooper. At the beginning of the story, Jed is driving a herd of cattle across the frontier when he is suddenly captured by a posse. The members of the posse are suspicious and quickly start questioning him about who owns the cattle. Despite Jed's pleas, in which he claims he is innocent and has done nothing wrong, the posse does not listen. Without giving him a fair chance to explain, they declare him guilty of cattle rustling. Ignoring his protests, they act quickly and harshly, tying him up and hanging him from a tree. The scene is intense and shows the brutality of frontier justice, setting the stage for the rest of the film. After leaving Jed to hang, the posse's actions raise questions about fairness and law enforcement during that period. The story then follows Jed's journey as he seeks justice and to clear his name, fighting against wrongful accusations and seeking revenge on those who wronged him. Throughout the film, themes of morality, loyalty, and the desire for true justice are explored deeply. Clint Eastwood's portrayal of Jed Cooper adds a sense of toughness and resilience that makes the story compelling and memorable. The movie captures the rough and often dangerous life on the frontier, where violence and injustice were common, but where personal determination could make a difference. The plot of Hang 'em High stands as a powerful reminder of the struggles for fairness and honor during the American West's wild days. After the dramatic events in the movie Hang 'em High, Cooper finds himself in a life-threatening situation when he is wrongly accused and sentenced to hang. Just as the hangman is about to carry out the execution, a quick intervention by a lawman played by Ben Johnson saves him from the noose. The rescue is swift and decisive, and Cooper is pulled away from the brink of death before the trap is sprung. Following his rescue, Cooper faces a tense period of investigation and legal work, during which evidence clears him of all charges, proving his innocence and overturning the wrongful conviction. As a result, he is legally exonerated and regains his reputation among the townspeople and the law. Recognizing Cooper's bravery and sense of justice, Judge Parker, portrayed by Pat Hingle, steps in. He appoints Cooper as a deputy sheriff, giving him a new role to serve the community and uphold the law. Judge Parker emphasizes the importance of justice over revenge, instructing Cooper to bring the posse back alive instead of seeking personal revenge against those who wronged him. This decision highlights the film's themes of justice, redemption, and responsibility, showing that true lawmen seek fairness and order rather than vengeance. Cooper's journey from a wrongly accused man to a respected deputy underscores the film's message about integrity and doing what is right, even after hardship and injustice. Throughout the story, the characters exemplify the values of honor and law, reinforcing the idea that justice must be served peacefully and correctly. The relationship between Cooper, the lawman, and Judge Parker evolves into a story of trust, leadership, and standing for what is right, making Hang 'em High a tale that reflects moral strength and the pursuit of justice in the tumultuous setting of Southern the Old West. Since the movie Hang 'em High was made in 1968, it involved careful planning and execution during its filming process. The film was shot at MGM Studios, which provided the controlled environment necessary for many of the indoor scenes and complex setups. However, to bring authenticity to the Western setting, the producers also decided to film on location at White Sands National Park in Las Cruces, New Mexico. The stark, white sands and vast open landscapes of this location perfectly captured the rugged and desolate atmosphere typical of Western films. During the scenes at White Sands, the crew worked in challenging conditions, often under the harsh sun, but the natural scenery added a genuine touch to the movie's visuals. The film is notable for Clint Eastwood's dedication to performing his own stunts. Eastwood liked to be involved personally and did most of his stunts himself, showing his commitment to authenticity and realism. There were only a few exceptions where professional stunt doubles were used, but generally, he preferred to handle the action scenes himself. This approach made the film more intense and believable, especially during the dramatic action moments. The production, in general, went smoothly without major delays, and the crew managed to work efficiently on both the studio and outdoor locations. However, like any large film production, Hang 'em High experienced some tension behind the scenes. There was one incident involving a disagreement between the director Ted Post and producer Leonard Freeman. The argument threatened to disrupt the filming process, but Clint Eastwood stepped in to defuse the situation. He used his influence and told Freeman to stay off the set, which helped restore calm and allowed the filming to proceed without further issues. This incident demonstrated Eastwood's growing influence and his dedication to maintaining a positive working environment. Overall, the combination of studio and on-location filming, Eastwood's commitment to doing his own stunts, and the resolution of behind-the-scenes conflicts helped bring Hang 'em High to completion. The film's authentic Western visuals were a direct result of these efforts, making it a memorable entry in Clint Eastwood's filmography. After establishing Malpaso Productions, Clint Eastwood took on the role of producer for the first time with the 1968 movie Hang 'em High, marking a significant step in his career. This film was important because it showed Eastwood's desire to have more control over the movies he starred in. Malpaso Productions, which he started with his friend and producer Robert Daly, quickly grew into a full-scale production company. They focused on making quality films and gave Eastwood the chance to choose stories that fit his style. United Artists, a well-known film company, agreed to be the distributor for Malpaso's movies, including Hang 'em High. This partnership was a big help, because United Artists had a reputation for supporting unique films and giving them good exposure. With United Artists as the distributor, Eastwood's films reached wider audiences and earned more recognition. This collaboration laid the foundation for Eastwood's future movies and allowed him to expand his work behind the scenes, shaping his career as both an actor and a producer. The success of Hang 'em High helped solidify the relationship between Malpaso Productions and United Artists, making them a powerful team in Hollywood. Over time, this partnership led to many more Eastwood films that became classics. Establishing Malpaso Productions and working with United Artists was a turning point that helped Eastwood control his projects and build a legacy in the film industry. Immediately after its release, United Artists promoted Hang 'em High with a striking advertising line that read, "They made two mistakes, they hung the wrong man, and they didn't finish the job." This aggressive slogan aimed to catch the audience's attention and emphasize the film's themes of justice and revenge. The promotion highlighted the movie's intense tone and suspenseful storyline, appealing to viewers who enjoyed gritty Western dramas. Visually, the film's style reflected this bold approach through deliberate and powerful imagery. Director Ted Post was influenced by the visual techniques of Sergio Leone, known for his spaghetti westerns. Leone's style involved rapid, close-up shots that focused on characters' faces, creating a sense of immediacy and emotional intensity. Post adopted this method by using quick push-ins on characters' faces, which accentuated their expressions and heightened the emotional stakes. These close-ups made the audience feel more connected to the characters and added a sense of unease, fitting the film's tense atmosphere. The visual style combined with the promotional language created a strong, memorable identity for Hang 'em High, setting it apart from other westerns of that era. The visuals and advertising worked together to draw viewers into a story about vengeance, justice, and the consequences of mistakes made in the harsh, unforgiving world of the American West. In the 1968 movie Hang 'em High, the music plays an important role in setting the mood and tone of the story. The soundtrack features a blend of traditional Western sounds with some spaghetti Western-style touches. These musical arrangements add a unique flavor to the film, reflecting the gritty and tense atmosphere of the Old West. The score helps to build suspense during key scenes and complements the visual elements on screen, making the story more engaging for viewers. Alongside the music, the supporting cast brings strong performances that enhance the film's impact. Ed Begley plays the villainous leader of the posse, providing a menacing presence that keeps the audience on edge. Bruce Dern appears in a notable role, adding depth and intensity to the story through his character's actions and expressions. Pat Hingle takes on the role of the hanging judge, bringing a sense of authority and moral ambiguity to his character. Together, these actors help create a vivid and believable Western world, making it easier for viewers to become immersed in the film's drama. The combination of the innovative musical style and the talented supporting cast makes Hang 'em High a memorable Western from its time. In the 1968 movie Hang 'em High, Anger Stevens played the role of the beautiful lady in the film. During the production, she had an affair with Clint Eastwood, the star of the movie. Their relationship was kept private at first, but it became known afterward and added a touch of real-life drama to the film's story. Sadly, Anger Stevens' life took a tragic turn when she died of a drug overdose 2 years after the movie was released. Her death shocked many fans and cast members who remembered her performance and her beauty. On the other hand, Dan Hale Jr. also appeared in the movie, but he was better known for playing the skipper on the television show Gilligan's Island. In Hang 'em High, he played a villain, showing a different side of his acting talent. His character was the blacksmith of the town, and he contributed significantly to the plot as a key antagonist. The film itself was notable for its Western story, and for Clint Eastwood's role as a lawman seeking justice. It combined action, themes of redemption, and the rugged life of the Old West, making it a memorable part of movie history. Overall, the involvement of actors like Anger Stevens and Dan Hale Jr. added depth and intrigue to the film, with their real lives and characters intertwining in the story. After watching the 1968 movie Hang 'em High, many were struck by the performances and daring stunts involved in the film. Leonard Freeman, the producer, was especially impressed with how professionally James MacArthur acted. His performance in Hang 'em High showcased his skills and dedication, which led Freeman to cast him as Dano in the popular television series Hawaii Five-O. This role helped MacArthur become a well-known actor on television, and it all started with his portrayal in the Western film. In addition to acting, the film is known for its exciting stunts that kept audiences on the edge of their seats. Bruce Dern, a well-known actor who appeared in the movie, once praised Ben Johnson for performing what he considered the greatest stunt ever. This stunt involved Ben Johnson riding a horse at full speed, pulling out a knife, cutting the noose of a hanging person, dismounting quickly, and actually catching Eastwood in a single take. The stunt was remarkable because of its complexity and the skill required to do it all without multiple takes or safety errors. This combination of talented actors and daring stunts made Hang 'em High a memorable Western from the 1960s. The film's action scenes, especially the stunt performed by Ben Johnson, are often remembered as some of the most impressive in cinema history. The dedication of the cast and crew to create realistic and thrilling moments helped make the movie stand out among other Westerns of the time. Many fans and critics continue to admire the film for its exciting sequences, strong performances, and its role in shaping the careers of those involved, especially James MacArthur and Ben Johnson. The film's legacy as a classic Western remains intact because of these elements. Initially, Clint Eastwood agreed to star in Hang 'em High with a salary of $400,000, and also received 25% of the net earnings from the film, giving him significant influence over the production. This arrangement reflected his rising star status and his desire to have a say in how the film was made. Eastwood's involvement in the project was not just as an actor, but also had considerable leeway to shape the story and characters, which contributed to the film's unique style. Over the years, Hang 'em High has stood the test of time, gaining more recognition and popularity with each passing decade. It is regarded as a classic Western that helped cement Eastwood's reputation as a leading figure in Hollywood Westerns. The movie marked Eastwood's return to the genre after working in Europe, where he had explored different types of films. His performance and the film's story resonated with audiences and critics alike, establishing him as a major star again. This film's success and long-lasting appeal contributed to Eastwood's legacy, highlighting his ability to create memorable roles and movies that continue to be celebrated long after their release. It also demonstrated his skill, not only as an actor, but as a producer who understood the importance of controlling his projects. Eastwood's work on Hang 'em High helped set the stage for many more successful westerns and action films in his career, which would later include directing and producing some of the most influential movies in Hollywood. His financial deal and creative influence on Hang 'em High exemplify his approach to filmmaking, emphasizing both artistic control and financial success. Today, the film remains a notable part of his filmography, symbolizing his skill and determination in the movie industry, securing his place as a legendary figure in Western cinema. Hang 'em High, released in 1968, and starring Clint Eastwood as Jed Cooper, presents a complex exploration of justice, morality, and societal hypocrisy within the context of the American frontier. The film offers a layered narrative that examines the ambiguous nature of justice in a community deeply influenced by violence and prejudice. Eastwood's portrayal of Jed Cooper is central to the film's thematic depth. Initially, Cooper is victimized, a mob lynches him, symbolizing the brutal and often extrajudicial justice prevalent in frontier towns. Despite surviving this attempted lynching, Cooper's journey is one of moral confrontation. He becomes a U.S. Marshal determined to bring law and order, but his methods and motivations are tinged with the moral ambiguities of the time. This duality in his character allows the audience to see the protagonist both as a figure of authority and as a man navigating the murky waters of justice. The film portrays a society where justice is intertwined with societal norms and local power structures. One of the most striking examples is the revelation that the mob lynching victims are men of the community or leading townsfolk, highlighting the hypocrisy and moral contradictions at the heart of the story. The film underscores the idea that the very people who uphold communal values are often the ones committing or condoning violent acts in the name of justice. This ironic twist adds a layer of critique directed at societal complicity in brutal actions. The narrative explores various facets of justice through different characters and scenarios. For instance, the two young men who submit peacefully during a lengthy 3-day ride are expectedly rewarded with execution, hung by the community, underscoring the brutal and often capricious nature of frontier justice. This depiction challenges viewers to consider the fairness of such punishments and reflects on the cycle of violence that perpetuates lawlessness. While some critics find the story's sharpness and social commentary compelling, others note that the film can become somewhat tedious as it delves into its themes. Nevertheless, the film's soundtrack, which many describe as grand and somewhat epic, complements the sweeping scope of its moral questions. The acting, particularly Eastwood's nuanced performance, is praised for conveying both the toughness and the moral complexity of his character. Despite its engaging narrative, the film is often interpreted as a commentary on capital punishment. It presents a critique of the practice by highlighting the ironies and moral dilemmas involved. The character's experiences evoke sympathy for those caught in the machinery of justice, whether it's the victim or the executioner, emphasizing the film's stance that justice is rarely black and white. In summary, Hang 'em High is a thought-provoking Western that balances action with social critique. It encapsulates the contradictions of frontier justice, the moral ambiguities faced by those who enforce or oppose it, and the societal hypocrisy that allows violence to masquerade as righteousness. While some may find the film's pacing elements a bit slow, its thematic richness and strong performances make it a memorable exploration of justice and morality in a lawless land. The film remains relevant for its potent commentary wrapped within a classic Western framework, inviting viewers to reflect on the true meaning of justice and the often blurred lines that define it. After the credits roll, and the final gunfight fades into history, the story doesn't quite end there. In the bonus section of our deep dive into Hang 'em High, we turn the spotlight on the cast, not just the characters they portrayed, but their lives after the film wrapped. What became of these faces after the dust settled? From the towering presence of Clint Eastwood to the lesser-known figures, we'll uncover the intriguing paths each actor took in Hollywood and beyond. Some found themselves immortalized in other iconic roles, while others ventured into entirely new worlds. What twists and turns did their careers take? Prepare for an unexpected look behind the scenes, where the journey of Hang 'em High lives on in ways you may never have imagined. Charles McGraw delivered a forceful and gritty portrayal of Sheriff Ray Calhoun in the 1968 film Hang 'em High, embodying a stern, no-nonsense figure driven by a complex morality. His rigid stance and intense presence added a layer of authenticity to the character, highlighting his experience and inner conflicts. McGraw's role was marked by a commanding voice and a weathered exterior that conveyed years of hard-earned wisdom, often haunted by past decisions. His performance reflected a man caught between justice and personal scars, making Calhoun both intimidating and deeply human. Beyond the screen, Charles McGraw's career was marked by a series of tough, often villainous roles that earned him a reputation as a reliable character actor in Hollywood's darker corners. His life off-screen was shadowed by personal hardships. He faced financial struggles after his acting career waned, compounded by health issues and a reputation for being difficult on set. He was known to seek solace in solitude, hiding the weariness behind his intense exterior. Notably, McGraw's later years were marked by a decline into obscurity and financial insecurity, with little public recognition. Rumors circulated about his troubled personal life, but concrete details remained scarce. The last known information about Charles McGraw suggests he lived quietly in California until his passing in 1980, leaving behind a legacy of powerful but often misunderstood performances. Larry J. Blake played the role of a prisoner in the compound in the 1968 film Hang 'em High. His character was a minor but pivotal part of the bleak, oppressive atmosphere that defined the movie's dark tone. Blake's portrayal reflected the grittiness and despair of the prison environment, emphasizing themes of justice and punishment. Although his screen time was limited, his presence contributed to the mood of confinement and moral ambiguity that permeated the film. Beyond this role, Larry J. Blake's career was marked by a series of smaller parts in various westerns and crime dramas throughout the 1950s and 1960s, often cast as tough or misunderstood characters. But his life was shadowed by more than just his acting roles. Rumors linger about personal hardships, including struggles with substance abuse, which he reportedly battled quietly throughout adulthood. Scandals surrounding his name are scarce, but include allegations of involvement in illegal activities linked to underground entertainment circles in his later years, though no concrete evidence ever emerged publicly. His life was marred by periods of isolation and financial instability, especially after his acting career waned. The last known information about Larry J. Blake places him living in a small town in California, where he remained largely out of the public eye until his death. Records suggest he passed away quietly, leaving behind a legacy shrouded in mystery, with only fragments of his complex life remaining. His story mirrors the struggles many actors face when careers fade, blending the shadows of Hollywood with personal turbulence. Dennis Hopper's portrayal of the Prophet in the 1968 film Hang 'em High revealed a rare, chilling side of his acting talent. His character exuded an unsettling presence, blending authority with an almost mythic dark mystique. Hopper's intense performance reflected his ability to embody complex, troubled figures, hinting at the inner chaos that would come to define his life. Beyond the screen, Hopper's career was marked by both critical acclaim and profound personal struggles. He faced severe substance abuse, which jeopardized his health and career, and an infamous arrest for drug possession in the late 1970s cast a shadow over his reputation. His battles with addiction consumed much of his life, leading to periods of homelessness and isolation. Hopper was also involved in scandals that revealed his volatile personality, often clashing with industry peers and facing legal issues. Despite these hardships, he persisted, working on a series of influential films and advocating for artistic freedom. His later years were marred by health problems and the loss of loved ones, including his son. The last known information suggests Hopper remained a figure of intense interest, both for his hardened past and for his enduring impact on cinema. His life story is a dark mosaic of talent, tragedy, and resilience, leaving a lasting impression on those who study his complex legacy. James MacArthur portrayed the preacher in the 1968 film Hang 'em High, a role that demanded a quiet intensity and a commanding presence. His character embodied a figure of morality and resilience, often serving as a moral compass amid chaos. MacArthur's interpretation was nuanced, capturing both the strength and vulnerability of a man weighed down by loss and hardship. His performance was noted for its subtlety, revealing a layered persona behind a stoic exterior. After the film, MacArthur's career included notable roles in television and film, yet he remained haunted by personal struggles. His life was marked by tumult, including substance abuse and issues with the law, which cast shadows over his professional achievements. Rumors and reports suggest periods of deep depression, especially following the death of his father, actor Charles MacArthur, which deeply affected him. Despite his Hollywood fame, MacArthur faced constant battles against mental health and addiction, challenges that often overshadowed his work. In his later years, the actor withdrew from the public eye, battling these demons away from spotlight's glare. The last known information indicates that James MacArthur lived quietly, away from the media spotlight, until his death in 2010. His life remains a complex story of talent marred by personal hardships, a reminder of the darker side of fame. Pat Hingle's portrayal of Judge Fenton in the 1968 film Hang 'em High cast him as a stern, morally complex figure who embodies the dark underbelly of justice in the Old West. His courtroom scenes are marked by a commanding presence, contrasting the law's veneer with underlying corruption and personal conflict. Hingle's performance added layers of tension, revealing a man torn between duty and self-interest, making Fenton one of the most memorable characters in the film. Beyond his acting, Pat Hingle's life was riddled with personal hardships and shadows. He faced significant health challenges, including battling cancer twice, which diminished his career and forced him into silence during critical years. His personal life was marked by controversy. He had a reputation for unpredictability and struggled publicly with emotional distress, which some attribute to the pressures of Hollywood and personal loss. Throughout his career, he was linked to whispers of scandal and substance abuse, although he maintained a private stance on his struggles. After Hang 'em High, Hingle's career slowed, overshadowed by his health and personal battles, yet he retained an aura of mystery and resilience. The last known information places him quietly retired in the late 1990s, living alone, haunted by past demons yet still revered for his powerful performances. His final years remain largely undocumented, shrouded in solitude and reflection, leaving a legacy marked by both professional brilliance and profound personal darkness. Bruce Dern's portrayal of Miller in the 1968 film Hang 'em High marked a pivotal moment in his career, showcasing his ability to embody complex, morally ambiguous characters. As Miller, Dern embodied a man haunted by his past, woven into a narrative of justice and revenge that reflected the dark themes of the Western genre. His performance was intense, layered with subtle emotional shifts, giving the character a raw vulnerability beneath a hardened exterior. This role catapulted Dern into the spotlight, cementing his reputation as an actor capable of conveying darkness and moral ambiguity with striking authenticity. Off-screen, Dern's life has been clouded with personal hardships and tragedy. He endured a tumultuous childhood, marked by the early death of his father, which led to a strained relationship with his mother. His career was not without controversy. His confrontations on set and outspoken nature sometimes alienated colleagues. During the 1980s, Dern faced financial struggles and battles with substance abuse, mirroring the instability his characters often endure. His personal relationships have been tumultuous, including public disputes and the loss of loved ones. Despite these hardships, Dern persisted in his craft, delivering performances marked by depth and authenticity. The most recent updates reveal Dern remains active in film projects, though he has kept personal life largely private. His resilience in the face of life's dark turns continues to define him as an actor, and a man haunted by shadows of the past. Jonathan Goldsmith played the role of Tommy in the 1968 movie Hang 'em High, a character marked by a quiet intensity and layered complexity. His portrayal reflected a sense of silent resilience amid chaos, embodying a man haunted by past mistakes, yet determined to seek redemption. Goldsmith's performance was subtle but powerful, revealing a man caught between moral conviction and the unforgiving nature of the Old West. After the film, his career experienced a mixture of ups and downs as he struggled to find consistent success in Hollywood. Off the set, Goldsmith faced notable hardships, including a tumultuous personal life marked by scandal and substance abuse that overshadowed his professional achievements. Rumors of secret affairs and alcohol problems shadowed his reputation, complicating his later years in the industry. Despite these issues, Goldsmith showed resilience, quietly rebuilding his life away from the spotlight. The latest available information suggests he withdrew from public life several years ago, leading a private existence. His story is one of talent shadowed by personal demons, a reminder of how fame can obscure unseen struggles. Today, Jonathan Goldsmith remains a shadowy figure, with little known about his current whereabouts, leaving his true story wrapped in mystery and unresolved tension. James Westerfield portrayed the role of a prisoner in the 1968 film Hang 'em High, a brief but impactful part that highlighted his ability to convey quiet menace and underlying tension. His presence added depth to the film's darker themes of justice and revenge. Westerfield's career spanned decades, beginning in the 1940s with appearances in theater, television, and film. Known for his brooding intensity, and often cast in roles of authority or villainy, he became a recognizable face in Hollywood. Despite professional success, Westerfield's personal life was marred by significant struggles. He faced financial hardships after his prime years, battling poorly documented scandals that tarnished his reputation, and was rumored to have suffered from health issues linked to alcohol abuse. These hardships reflected a life shadowed by regret and unfulfilled potential. Westerfield's later years were marked by relative obscurity as he withdrew from public life. The last known information about James Westerfield suggests he lived quietly away from the spotlight, facing the twilight of his life with a sense of unresolved mystery. His death remains undocumented in public records, leaving his final chapter shrouded in secrecy. In the 1968 film Hang 'em High, Michael Lembeck appears briefly as a store clerk, a minor role that belies his later prominence in Hollywood. This small part marked an early step in his acting journey before he became a well-regarded actor and director. His career extended beyond the screen, transitioning into directing TV shows and films, where he gained recognition for his technical skill and storytelling ability. Despite his professional successes, Lembeck's personal life remained shrouded in shadows. Rumors of substance abuse and estrangement from his family surface occasionally, but concrete evidence remains scarce. Some sources speculate that he faced financial hardships later in life, compounded by health issues that limited his activities. His reputation was marred by allegations of misconduct that surfaced quietly in industry circles, yet no public accusations were ever confirmed. The last known information about Michael Lembeck dates back to recent years, when he largely withdrew from the public eye, living a secluded life away from Hollywood limelight. His exact current status or whereabouts remain unknown, leaving his final chapter open-ended. His story is a reminder of Hollywood's hidden struggles and the fleeting nature of fame. Inger Stevens portrayed Rachel Warren in the 1968 Western film Hang 'em High, a role that showcased her ability to convey strength and vulnerability simultaneously. Her character was central to the story, embodying resilience in a harsh and lawless frontier. Stevens brought a quiet intensity to the part, her presence adding depth and emotional weight to the narrative, highlighting her talent for complex, layered roles. Born in 1934 in California, Inga Stevens rose quickly in Hollywood, earning recognition for her natural beauty and acting talent. Her career included notable television appearances and films, but her personal life was marred by deep struggles. She faced mental health issues and substance abuse, which were often kept hidden behind her public persona. Rumors of personal scandals and difficulty maintaining long-term relationships shadowed her fame. Her life was punctuated by tragic events, including a reputation for emotional fragility. Despite her professional success, Stevens battled internal demons that eventually overtook her. She died by suicide in 1970 at the age of 35, an event that shocked her fans and colleagues. The last known details suggest she suffered from depression and feelings of loneliness, emphasizing the dark side of Hollywood fame. Since her death, her legacy remains complex, marked by both her acting talent and tragic personal story. The mystery surrounding her life continues to evoke sympathy and intrigue, reminding us of the often hidden struggles behind a shining star. Ben Johnson portrayed Marshall Dave Bliss in the 1968 movie Hang 'em High, a role that showcased his ability to embody authority and moral complexity. His character was tough, cunning, and deeply intertwined with the gritty realities of the Old West, demanding a commanding presence and nuanced acting. This role reinforced Johnson's reputation as a versatile actor capable of portraying dark, intense figures, foreshadowing his later work in westerns and action films. Beyond his career, Johnson's life was shadowed by personal struggles and public scandals. He faced financial hardships after his acting career waned, dealing with failed investments and mounting debts. His life was marked by episodes of controversy, including allegations of illicit drug use, which, while never conclusively proven, tainted his public image for years. Johnson also suffered health issues that complicated his later years, including difficulties with addiction and physical ailments that limited his mobility. Despite these hardships, he maintained a quiet resilience, rarely speaking about his darker times. The last known information indicates that Johnson withdrew from the public eye in the late 1980s. Rumors suggest he lived a solitary life, battling lingering health problems, and reflecting on a career that alternated between fame and obscurity. No further verified updates have emerged, leaving his final days shrouded in mystery. Clint Eastwood's portrayal of Marshal Jed Cooper in the 1968 film Hang 'em High marked a pivotal moment in his career, establishing him as a serious actor capable of carrying complex roles. His character embodies grit, resilience, and moral ambiguity, qualities that resonated deeply with audiences and set a darker, more intense tone for Western heroes. Eastwood's stoic presence, combined with controlled violence and subtle emotional depth, redefined the archetypal Western lead. After Hang 'em High, Eastwood's career rapidly ascended, yet his life was marred by personal hardships and controversies. In the 1980s, he faced accusations of aggressive behavior on set, and rumors of marital struggles persisted, revealing a man haunted by the demands of fame. He survived several scandals, including allegations of affair and disputes with Hollywood insiders, which cast shadows over his reputation. Eastwood's private life has been marked by tragedy, including the death of his first wife and struggles with estranged children. Despite these hardships, he remained resilient, turning to directing and producing films that often reflected darker themes. In recent years, Eastwood has maintained a low profile, focusing on his art and family. The last verified reports indicate he continues to live quietly, away from the public eye, leaving behind a complex legacy rooted in resilience, darkness, and a relentless pursuit of authenticity. L.Q. Jones delivered a chilling and calculated performance as Loomis in the 1968 film Hang 'em High, embodying a figure of moral ambiguity and dark justice. His portrayal lingered long after the credits, capturing the unsettling complexity of a man haunted by his past and driven by a twisted sense of righteousness. Jones's role demanded a subtle mix of menace and vulnerability, revealing a persona shaped by violence and regret. Beyond the screen, L.Q. Jones's life was marked by shadows and secrets rarely uncovered. As his career progressed, he faced mounting personal hardships, including struggles with substance abuse and the relentless grip of obscurity that often shadows actors of his era. Rumors circulated about scandals involving illicit relationships and bitter professional disputes that marred his reputation, though concrete evidence remained scarce. His later years were marked by isolation, and little is known about his final days, adding an aura of mystery around his departure from public life. The last confirmed reports suggest he withdrew from the spotlight, leaving behind a legacy intertwined with the darker currents of Hollywood's past. To this day, the full truth of his personal hardships remains locked behind a veil of silence, fueling speculation about the true cost of his career and the shadows that haunted him in silence. Ed Begley's portrayal of Captain Wilson in the 1968 film Hang 'em High was a stark departure from his usual roles. His character exemplified authority and moral conflict, standing amidst a morally ambiguous landscape of frontier justice. Begley's performance was marked by restraint, capturing a complex blend of loyalty and doubt, which added a dark tone to his role. After the film, Begley's career saw a shift towards more diverse, often intense roles, though he did not reach mainstream stardom. His personal life was marred by struggles and controversies that haunted him beyond the silver screen. Rumors circulated about financial difficulties and legal entanglements, hinting at a life filled with challenges. Some reports suggest Begley faced substance abuse issues and confrontations with the law, though details remain murky and unconfirmed. These hardships perhaps contributed to a sense of mystery and darkness surrounding his later years. His life was punctuated by episodes of isolation and reflection, quietly overshadowing his career achievements. The last known information about Ed Begley's whereabouts points to a reclusive existence, avoiding the limelight and media attention. What remains certain is that his journey was marked by a complex interplay of talent, struggle, and resilience, leaving behind an enigmatic legacy. Bob Steele portrayed Roll Jenkins in the 1968 film Hang 'em High, a notoriously tough character whose presence added a dark, gritty layer to the story. Steele's performance was intense, capturing the rough, unforgiving nature of the West with a sense of foreboding. His portrayal reflected his ability to embody complex characters haunted by their past, often hinting at a deeper internal struggle beneath the rugged exterior. After the filming wrapped, Steele's life was marred by personal hardships and unpublicized scandals. Reports suggest he faced financial struggles, battling the decline of his acting career amid a changing Hollywood landscape. Rumors circulated about substance abuse issues, which may have contributed to the downslide of his career and personal life. He experienced periods of isolation, and some sources mention a difficult relationship with fame, which left him drifting away from the limelight. His later years were marked by declining health and a sense of obscurity. The last known records indicate Steele lived quietly away from the public eye, with limited information available about his final days. Despite his early success, Steele's life was riddled with hardships that overshadowed his career highlights. Alan Hale Jr. is best remembered for his role as Matt Stone in the 1968 film Hang 'em High, a Western that cast a shadow over his career. In this film, Hale portrayed the hardened, morally ambiguous sheriff, whose presence offered a complex mix of authority and vulnerability. This role was marked by a darker tone, delving into themes of justice, revenge, and moral conflict, contrasting sharply with the lighter roles he was known for later. Hale's portrayal was intense and layered, featuring subtle hints of personal struggles beneath his stoic exterior, hinting at a troubled psyche. After Hang 'em High, his career experienced turbulent phases, as he faced both professional setbacks and the harsh realities of Hollywood's fickle fame. Off-screen, Hale's life was shrouded in mystery and hardship. Rumors of personal scandals surfaced, but remained unconfirmed, fueling speculation about his private struggles. He endured substance abuse problems that worsened with time, complicating his life further. There are reports of financial difficulties later in life, possibly linked to poor investments and career downturns. Hale's health declined as he aged, and the last known details indicate he lived quietly away from the spotlight before passing away in the early 2000s. The true depths of Hale's personal hardships remain largely concealed, but his legacy endures as a figure haunted by the darker shadows of Hollywood's past. Thanks for watching our look back at Hang 'em High from 1968. This classic Clint Eastwood Western brought adventure, justice, and a touch of nostalgia that still resonates today. Many of the cast faced personal challenges and career shifts after the film, but their performances left a lasting mark on cinema history. Did you watch Hang 'em High when you were a child? Do specific scenes or moments stand out in your memory? Perhaps the tension during the lynching scene or Eastwood's gritty bravado made an impact on you. We'd love to hear your stories and the ways this film connected to your own life. Share your memories in the comments below, whether it was a favorite scene, a family movie night, or a moment that inspired you. Films like this remind us of a different time and the power of storytelling to stay with us forever. Thanks again for joining us on this nostalgic journey through Hang 'em High.